And tonight, video recorded by eyewitnesses near the scene is shedding more light on what happened. You can hear the gunshots on this video recorded by a tourist. 2 officers fired a total of 3 shots at 35-year-old Glenn Broadnax of Brooklyn Friday night because they thought he had a weapon. But the officers missed their target and instead hit 2 bystanders, wounding a 54-year-old in the right knee and grazing a 35-year-old woman. Eventually, cops used a taser to subdue Broadnax.
And again, he just pushed the door shut and just stares at me.
So you're staring each other down?
Yeah, he stares at me and he's like almost over top of me. It looked like he was trying to intimidate me. And as I look back at him, all of a sudden, punches start flying.
He threw the first punch?
Yes. He threw the first one and hit me in the left side of my face.
Because, you know, some of the witnesses have said that they saw you trying to pull him into the car.
That would be against every training ever taught to any law enforcement officer.
Didn't happen?
No, it did not.
He punched you and did he land a punch?
Yes, he did. I had reached out my window of my right hand to grab onto his forearm because I was going to try and move him back and get out of the car to where I'm no longer trapped. And when I felt it, I just felt the immense power that he had. I mean, the way I've described it is it was like a 5-year-old holding on to Hulk Hogan. That's just how big this man was.
Hulk Hogan?
He was very large, very powerful man.
You're a pretty big guy.
Yeah, I'm above average. I'm about 210, 215, but you know, from what I've heard, he was around 290. And then as I'm holding him, I see him coming back around with his left hand, and it's in the shape like this, and it comes in through the window and just a solid punch to the right side of my face. I mean, the next thing was, how do I survive?
That moment before the second shot, you guys are staring at each other, and you said there was a look in his eye like something you'd never seen before. Mm-hmm. You described it as a demon.
Mm-hmm. It was a very, very intense image he was presenting. I was so shocked by the whole interaction because this was escalated so quickly from a simple request to now a fight for survival. And it still doesn't make sense to me why someone would act in that way and be so mad instantly, so aggressive instantly.
Yeah, I want to say one thing, just the historical context of this. So as JR said, so he says that black people in America are also taught to be scared of other black people that they don't know. And I believe it was Slate today put together front page headlines from newspapers over the past 100 years. And you would be shocked at the number of headlines that read, crazed giant Negro, insane huge black man. All the headlines were just, think about these huge black people that are crazed beyond belief, can't be put down without lethal force. That was a common occurrence historically in newspapers around the country. Sometimes you'd see multiples on one front page, just crazed black Negro. You need to put them down. And then that over the course of decades just gets drilled into people's minds. And it leads to what we showed you yesterday, that when you ask people to respond when they see a white face and a black face, which is more likely to have superhuman powers of strength and speed, 63% of the time they choose the black face because they've been taught these aren't like normal humans. They're scarier, they're faster, they're stronger. And I think that leads to the subconscious biases that leads to, whether you think that a police officer is racist or not, he doesn't see them the same way.
Yeah, that's just one of the things he's accused of. There is also another incident in which he's accused of orchestrating a group of men to lure another man and beat him. This is a man he accuses of stealing from him. Then later, he was reportedly recorded making a comment that if something happened to him as a result, these guys are dead. It's a threat that prompted the judge to order him held without bail. And again, this is just the start of what he is accused of. An officer sworn to uphold the law in court today, accused of severely breaking that vow in several ways. What can you say about the accusations against your husband? Outside of court, Michael Dirajati's family refused to comment on the accusations, including one that is sparking outrage. The 8-year NYPD veteran charged with arresting a man on Staten Island without cause and lying that the man physically fought back to resist arrest. Later, investigators say he was recorded saying he fried another, then used a racial slur, a word he was reportedly recorded using at least a dozen other times.
The police are violating people's constitutional rights on a wide scale. I mean, we're talking about hundreds of thousands, even millions of times a year. And the other thing is that it's actually making crime fighting more difficult.
And Dirajati's attorney is fighting to have him released. They will be back in court for a bail hearing on Wednesday. We are live in downtown Brooklyn. Marcy Gonzalez, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
The daughter of a shoplifting suspect shot by the Memphis police is speaking out tonight. Kelsey Golden first watched the video, which aired on Fox 13, which appears to show an officer using possible excessive force on her father after he was shot. Now, she says that George Golden is partially brain dead. Police say they shot the suspect after he resisted arrest, and they felt that their lives were in danger during that scuffle. This all went down Wednesday in a Walmart parking lot.
Daryl, we've obtained a police affidavit which doesn't even mention an officer-involved shooting. Kelsey Golden says her father was shot in the chest and is in critical condition tonight. She says doctors told her he's partially brain dead due to lack of oxygen, which she blames on the officers who she says didn't quickly rush him to the hospital. Now she wants answers into possible police misconduct. Kelsey Golden says this cell phone video shows police blatantly used excessive force on her father after he was shot by an officer. The bystander's video appears to show an officer stomp, then kick a man on the ground twice. Kelsey says police confirmed the suspect they shot is her father, George Golden.
Suspended without pay simply because I'm sure you're not supposed to. That's not something you're supposed to do. If he was already shot, why would you do that?
Police say the shooting happened after a Walmart shoplifting suspect resisted arrest multiple times and fought with officers. Then they say the suspect reached inside his waistband as if he was concealing a weapon. That's when they shot him. You can hear the suspect plead for his life. What goes through your mind when you hear your father say that? While no weapon was found on the suspect, Police Director Tony Armstrong says the officers likely felt threatened.
Security police.
I'm in charge of this man.
No longer, madam. He is now in the custody of the Ministry of Science.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape.
Like Planet of the Apes, that shit will offend you. Black people hate that movie. Because you know they talking about us. Planet of the Apes is about black people. I can tell by the way. Get your goddamn dirty ape hands off of me. You ain't see one with Mark Wahlberg and them motherfuckers had them apes in that movie sitting around eating watermelon talking about I'm not making that up. They had the apes eating watermelon. I was like, who the fuck are you really talking about? And that's not bad. After that, the ape smoked a Newport at the end of the meal. This is fucking crazy. The ape smoking Newports. Trying to make fun of black people. Let me guess, these apes like fried chicken too? Am I seeing a pattern?
Now, here's a case of a Republican. His name is Jim Coughlin. He's the comptroller for Dutchess County, New York. And he's actually thinking of running for, he is in fact running for state senate as a candidate, so higher office. We found an old tweet, not us, but press did, of an issue where he had tweeted about Melissa Harris Perry, who is, of course, hosts on MSNBC. She happens to be African American. She does a show during the weekends, and she had an ad out about her, and she had an education policy that apparently conservatives were very upset about. And I remember that controversy back in the day, and the blogger David Burge had written a tweet about it, making fun of it. And then our friend here, who was definitely not our friend, Jim Coughlin, decided that he would add to that tweet, and he wrote this about Melissa Harris Perry. "Keep your stinking paws off my kid, you damned dirty ape." Okay, now, we know that that's a reference to Planet of the Apes, but not a reference I would have made in that case. Now, given that Melissa Harris Perry has apologized in the past for the most minor transgression you could possibly imagine, will he at least do in kind and say, "Oh, my bad, man, I apologize, of course that was ridiculous"? No. Instead, he says, "I don't watch MSNBC. I don't know about their stories or their journalists." So he claims, "She's black, I didn't know that. I just assumed she was an ape either way." Oh, great. Why, thank you. Now, you see what we're talking about here when we say there's a little bit of an inequality in how this works. Republicans are like, "I didn't know what color that ape was." Now, that's paraphrasing, obviously, but I read you the quotes of what the guy said. There was no apology forthcoming. And that's how they rule.
Now we go to France, where far-right National Front candidate for next year's local elections, Anne-Sophie Leclerc, published an image online comparing Justice Minister Christiane Taubira, who happens to be black, with a monkey. On Thursday, France 2 television revealed a photo montage that Leclerc had posted on her Facebook page showing a baby monkey with a caption underneath reading, "At 18 months," alongside Taubira with the caption, "Now." Now we have a short clip from an interview Leclerc did with TV station France 2. Take a listen.
Je vais vous demander ce que vous en pensiez de cette photo. Celle-ci, je l'ai vue. Et honnêtement, je l'ai mise sur mon réseau. Justement, ouais, je l'ai trouvée effectivement sur votre Facebook. Oui, bien sûr, bien sûr. Qu'est-ce que veut dire ce photomontage exactement? Tout est dit entre les mots. Hein. Voilà, elle arrive comme ça, elle débarque comme ça, franchement, c'est une sauvage, quoi. Elle prend tout le monde. Quand on lui parle quelque chose de grave à la télé, aux informations, n'importe où, elle vous fait un sourire, mais il faut voir un sourire du diable. Parce que ce genre de comparatif des noirs avec des singes, ça fait partie quand même de toutes les thématiques du racisme primaire. En général, non, ça n'a rien à voir. Un singe, ça reste un animal. Un noir, c'est un être humain. J'ai des amis qui sont noirs et c'est pour ça que je leur dis que c'est des singes.
Savage, but she's not racist. So it's good to know she has black friends and doesn't call them monkeys. That must surely mean that she isn't racist. Oh mon Dieu. A party spokesman announced that Leclerc's candidacy for next year's local elections has been suspended pending a disciplinary hearing, and the scandal comes at a time when efforts by National Front leader Marine Le Pen to clean up the image of the party appeared to have yielded results. The National Front Party has gained popularity in local elections throughout the country. And based on several stories we've done this week, I have to tell you, it certainly seems like racism is en vogue in Europe this year.
Throughout Europe, soccer players of color are often subjected to racist acts and language as they play what is known as the beautiful game overseas. The World Cup, the globe's single largest event, begins Friday on ESPN and ABC. And the joy of cultural celebration is tempered by concerns over controlling racist outbursts. Jeremy Schaap on the beautiful game turned ugly.
Carlos Kameni is from Cameroon in West Africa. He plays goal for the Spanish club team Espanyol, one of the strongest teams in perhaps the strongest league in the world. But even fans in his own stadium shower him with racist slurs and bananas.
When I see a banana on the field, I think, I'm not a monkey, I'm a human. It's hard for those far away to understand. But on one hand, I'm a respected member of the team. And on the other hand, I'm an animal.
Mark Zorro was 18 years old when he left his native Ivory Coast, the nation he'll represent at this World Cup, to play soccer in Italy. For 3 years, he's played for the Sicilian team Messina, and in nearly every game, fans have taunted him. Finally, last fall, during a game against Inter Milan, Zorro had had enough. He picked up the ball and threatened to walk off the field. 2 players from the opposing team rushed to Zorro's side, imploring him to stay on the field and the fans to stop.
I couldn't take it anymore. What I did was instinctive. They were in my head. My head was so full of what they were saying, I couldn't concentrate on the game. And I couldn't go on like that. And I had to pick up the ball.
When Zorro next played Inter Milan, some fans held up a banner that read, "Peanuts and bananas are the pay for your infamy."